You're welcome to my channel, Mindset Academy, where we want to solve a problem involving link mechanism. And the question goes like this. It says, two equal link AB and CD as shown in the figure above are connected by a rod BD. Oscillate about their end A and C. Plot the locus of. The first one is the midpoint P or BD, and the second one, the point Q on BD. Then we are given the dimension as AB equals to CD equals to 1200 millimeter, BD is equals to 900 millimeter, and BQ is equals to 225 millimeter. Now, without being told, you can see that the dimensions are so big, right? So we have to put them to a scale so that they can fit into our drawing set. So we are going to say that in order for our drawing to fit into our drawing sheet, we're going to put them into scale. So I'm going to say that let 100 millimeter be equals to 1 centimeter. So my 200 centimeter will be that whatever I have, I'm going to dividing them by what? By 100, right? So it means that the 1200 millimeter will now be equals to what? 12 centimeter, and the 900 millimeter will be equals to what? 9 centimeter. The 225 millimeter will be equals to what? 2.25 centimeter. So this is what I am going to be using as my what? My dimension, right? So we'll start. The first thing I'll first of all draw will be the point what? The point CD, right? So I'll just draw my horizontal line first at this platform here. So I'm drawing from this point to this point. So I'll just draw the line, and the horizontal line in this manner, like this. Like this, and I'll pick a point. Let's say I'm picking this point here, right? I'll call that point D, right? And I'm going to measure. So the point you're seeing is the point you're seeing on the screen. So that I'll now measure 120. That is, I'll measure what? 12 centimeter, and 12 centimeter is 120 millimeter. So I'll measure 12 centimeter here. So this is 0 to 12. This is 12 centimeter, right? Which is equivalent to 120 millimeter. So this point, I'm going to now thicken together to here. That'll be my what? My DC here. You can see that. Now we are now told that the angle at this point here, at which BC is inclined, is given to be angle what? Angle 75 degree. So what I'll just do here is I'll place my protractor at this point here, ensure that it is aligning with the point. So I'll place it at point D. You can see that. At point what? At point D. I'll place that point D. You can see that. So this is 0, right? This will be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Then what? 75 here. So that is the angle of what? 75. So I'll just draw a line this way to go through this point like this. Can see that? Just faint line first. Now we're given that BD, right, is 9 centimeter. Instead of the normal 900 millimeter, we've converted it, so we're making use of what? 9 centimeter. So I'm going to measure 9 centimeter from this point. From 0 to 9 is 9 centimeter. So from 0 to this point 9 here, this is what we have here. our 9 centimeter here. So that will be what? Point B, right? So from that point B, I'm going to draw an inclined line this way from the point B this way. You can see that. So from B to A is also giving us from D to C because they are equal. So I can easily use my protractor and transform that point from here, right? I'll transform the point to this point, and I'm having it here. And that will be what? Point A. Because I told that A to B is equal to what? C to D, as given the question, and that is giving us 12 centimeter, which when we have reduced them to our scale. So now we know the angle between here and here. We have calculated to be what? 45 degree. So I don't need this. So I'm going to delete this off. So let me do that. So this is what we have. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to draw the arc you've seen. So we have arc there. So I'll just place my compass at point C, and I'll go to this point here, right? And I'm going to draw in this manner, just faint line. That's what I have. And I'll come here also, I'll do the same thing from A. I'll do the same thing at this point. That's what I'm going to do from here, coming. So that should be faint line. That's it. And here also, see what we have here. We've already done this. Right, so we don't really need this. We have reproduced what we have in the right hand side of the screen. We've drawn the points AB, the rod BD, right? And we want to get the locus, as in the point P. And we're told point P is the midpoint of BD as given in the question. So we are going to draw that BD, and that is half of 90. So that'll be 45. So from here to here is given to be 90. You see that? So that'll be 45. Right? So from 0, this is 40, and this is 45. So this is my point P. Then the next one is BQ, and that's giving us 22.5 millimeter or 2.25 centimeter. So I'll just measure it from here. 0, and this is 10, 20, 122.5 here. So that is my point Q. So we've gotten that. Now the next thing is we need to divide this line into equal parts, right? How are we going to do that? The way we do that is we know that BC is equals to what? AB, which is 12 centimeter, right? So I will add my BC, which is 12, plus my BD, which is given as 9 centimeter plus 12 centimeter give you 21 centimeter. So I'm going to measure 21 centimeter on my meter rule, 21 centimeter. So when I place it this way, starting from 1 to 22, 1 to 22 here, as you can see, from 1 here to 22, this is 20, 21, 22. Why am I stopping at 22? Because I'm starting from 1, right? So this is what we have here. So from 1 to 22 is 21. I'm starting from 1, making my 1 to be 0. So that is my 21 centimeter. And I'll place it at C here, right? I'll place it at C. So I'll now mark up and I'll mark down, right? So that point I mark, I'm going to call this point here. Let me just call it B prime, and I'll call this point here. Let me call it B prime prime. Is that again? So I'll just draw a line to this point this way. Draw a line to this point this way, and also a line to this point this way. The aim for doing this is to divide from this point to this point equal, right? So let's measure the angle first so we'll know how much we can divide this angle from here to here. So if I take my protractor, right, and I place it taking here as my reference point, right, taking here as my reference point from A, you can see that, taking here to be my reference point, this is 0, and taking A, so moving this will be 60, 61, 62, 63, right? That is given as 63. So the angle between here and here is given to be what? 63. So if I should do that, the angle between here and here is 63 degree, right? So how will I divide that? Divide it equally. I can say, okay, if I assume this is 60 now, right? Let me say 62. If I divide 62 by, I'll divide them by what? By 6. So let's say this is angle 62 degree, right? So I'll divide from here to here by what? By 6. So if I divide 2 by 6, that means each of the four angle there will be what? Will be 12 each, right? So I will just take my protractor and I'll place it this way. So I did the initial point. It'll be this way, right? So I'll start marking 12 each. This is 10, starting from 0 here. So this will be 10. I can just easily start from the 0 point here. So 12 each. This is 0, 10, 11, 12. This is 12 here. The next one will be what? 24. This is 20. This is 24. The next one is what? 36. This is 30. This is 36. Right? And the next one will be 48. This 40, 48 is here. Then we have that. So I'll just take my rule and edit this line to pass through here. Edit it to pass through here. Edit it to pass through here. And also do the same thing here too. Right? So if you see, this will be B, this will be B1, this will be B2, this will be B3, B4, and what? I'll leave this, right? So if I go B1, B2, B3, B4, then let's say I get here, it will be what? My B5, right? So I'll go back again. This will be B6, B7, B8, B9, right? So I can now go here to B. From here now, this will be the new B10 now. That again, that will be B10. Then I'll divide here to the same way I did the rest to avoid any. If I use this one will be here. So here will be B11, right? This will be B12, right? If you're coming down again, this will be what? B13. So this is what I actually mean here. So let's start and see how we can do that. So what I'll be aiming at will be, we know that from here to here is BD, right? So I'm going to come to B1 and I'll mark here. See what I'm doing? From B1, I'm marking here. Here will now become what? D1. So I'll join it together. I'm going to do what? I'll join it together. B1 to what? To D1. Now we have a point there from B to the midpoint P, right? I'll come to B1. I'll mark here. So this is the midpoint of B1, D1, which I'm going to call what? P1. Similarly, from B to Q, can you see that? I'll come to B1 in order to get what? Q1. So Q1 will be here. That will be my Q1. You can see that? Now we'll move again to the next one. The same measurement I used to get BD, I'll come to B2 also in order to get this. It will now become what? D2. So I'll join together. You see that? So what I used to get BP here, I'll use the same thing to get my P2 here, midpoint. That'll be what? P2. Then I need Q2. So from B to Q, we give you B2 to Q2. B2 to Q2. Right? Similarly, I'll come again the same way, B to D. I'll come to B3 in order to get what? D3. So this is a D3 here. So I'm going to join together this way. You can see that. So with the same measurement, B to P, I'll come to here to get P3. Then the same measurement, B to Q, again to B3 to Q3. That again, I'll come again from B to D, right? I'll come here to get B4 to what? To D4, then the same point. B4 to D4. You see that? So I'm going to join them together. So compress it from B to P. I'll get from here to here. I see that? That'll give me my P3. I mean P4. Similarly, to get Q, B to Q, I'll come here. I get my Q4. To be my Q4. Right? Similarly, I can just come here. From say B to D, right? Or I can just join the last point to the last point here. You can see. So the last point here, right? So this last point here, I can easily just place it here. Now if you look at the midpoint, this coming from this point, this is where it's meeting. Can see that? So I'm having this. So I'll connect it together. All good. So I'll get the midpoint from B. So that will be my D what? My D5 here. So taking the midpoint from here to here should be the same thing as saying from here to here, because we are replicating. I'm going to give me my Q what? Or better still, we have this. I'll call it my P5, right? And if I come here to get Q, I'll move it here to get what? My Q5. So taking the aim is we're going to join all this point of P together. That is the target. But let's just proceed. Now the next thing, I'll come again, this is B5, I'll come to B6 with the same measurement of B to D, because it is moving about this point A here. So I'm coming from B to D. I'll come here to B6 now, and I'm going to place it here. So this point here is my B6. So I'm going to join, because remember I have 2 points here. So I'll join this to this, right? So I'll get the midpoint, BQ. So I'll come here to the midpoint here. That will be my P what? P6. Right? The same thing as Q here to get Q6 on that same line. This will be Q6. All good. Then I'm going to come again. I will take BD again. Then I'll come to B7 to get to this point here. At this point here will be my, sorry, this is D, this will be D6, and this is what? D7, right? So I'm going to join B7 and D7 together this way, right? So I'll get the midpoint, BP, take it to in between B7 and D7. See, they are meeting at the same point here. It's passing through the same point. So that means this same point will also have my what? My P7, right? So just to, the next one is B8. So I'm starting from P, P1 and P2. I'm going that way. So going from B to D, I'll go to 8. This 8 here. I'll mark here. So this is my D8, right? So I'll get the midpoint, P to P, come to that point. First of all, join the B8 and D8 together this way, right? Then I'll get the midpoint, P to B. So I'll get here to get my P8. So this point here is my P8, right? Then I'll get B and Q, come to this point. So this point here will be the Q, I'll call it Q8. So I'll come again, do the same thing, B to D. I'll come at B9, right? I'll mark at this point. That will be my D9. Then I'll join to B9. Can see that? So taking the midpoint, B to Q, come to B9. So that will get here. That will be my P9. Right, also the same thing. Q here to get my Q9. To this point here will be my Q9. Then I'll come again from B to D. I'll come to, which is already there. You see that? So by having B10 from this point, I can here. I'll call it my D10. So I'm going to connect these two together this way. Right? So I'll get the midpoint from B to P. Right? So I'll come here. This is the midpoint here. Having my P10. I also need the Q from here to here. So the Q10 here. Here is Q10. Similarly, I'll come to B to D again. That is the rod. So come to B11 here. Same point here. That's D10. So I'll call it D11. So join B11 and D11 together. So I'm going to mark in between B and P to get P11. So this point here will be my P11, right? Then the next thing is Q11. So I'll take a B to Q, come at B11 in order to get what? The Q11 here. So this is Q11. Similarly, I'll come to B and D again, come to B12 in order to get the point. So you're looking at this point here and here. So that will give me my D12 here. I'm going to join D12, B12 this way. So I need a midpoint between B and D with BP. Come to D12, meeting at this point, right? In order to get P12. P12 here, right? Then the next one is we're getting B12, B11, then we have B13 also. So take from B to D. At B13 too, you just mark down here, right? That will be my D13. So you connect between D13 and then B13 on the same point, and you get the midpoint from D to QD, right? This that B13 here. So this will be on this point, right? That will be B13, and so on and so forth. So you now take your French curve, or you can use your hand, and you start joining all the point of P. This is P here, and if I use this my French curve I have here, I'll start joining all the P first of all. So this is P here and this another P here. So I'm going to join them together like this. I'm going to join them like this. And also, whether this is at the P here, I join them together. So I join them together. Then these two. All the P There's another P here that we have. So that's P5. So I'll join together. Then this P5 to P6. Then the next one is to this point from P6 to P7 also. We have this. We have this. And let's come here first. So I'm just taking this tree like this. So it's better to take them this way. Now what I'm going to do, take the 3 points this way. So let me do that. So join this tree here like this. Right. So the next one here, just join them together. And you can use your hand if you can. Then you can just, we have P10, P11, P12. I can just join them together this way. Just join them moving with your hand if you can. So these two like this. It's coming this way. You see that? Then this P12. I have P13 here. So I can just make it P13. This. Then what else again? Back to P. So this is what we have here. So we've connected that of P. And the next one we connected will be that of Q. So Q is starting from here. This is Q. This is Q1. And this is Q2. Right? So you join this locus of what? Of P and what? And Q. So most times it might just be different. Is that again? So sometimes you might just be given only one locus of the point to join those points. So this is what we have here. So if you have found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share the video.